This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so successfully I have imported two tables called employee and department table into my Power Query editor. Now I want to perform left anti-join. So I can go for merge queries and merge queries as new. You know what is the difference between merge queries and merge queries as new, right? Right, Surya?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, what if I go for merge queries? What happens?
It will implement on the exist table.
Perfect. So let us not implement on the, let us not disturb on the existing table. So my first table is employee underscore merge. My second table is dpt underscore merge. And I want to perform a join activity of left anti-join. Okay. So select the common column in between the two things and click on OK. Done. Your left anti-join got implemented using Power BI desktop. Now, what do you mean by left anti-join? So result of this is the result of left anti-join. What do you mean by left anti-join? Record should present in the left hand side table. Record should present in the left hand side table, but it should not present in the right hand side table. So that is the concept of left anti-join. Okay. So if you go back here, let me open the data sheet. Uh, mm, mm, okay, I'm just trying to open the data sheet so that you'll get the complete picture on what is what. Yes. So this is the data. You have a table called emp underscore merge. You have a table called emp underscore merge. You have a table called dpt underscore merge, right? So you have data something like this. When I go for left anti-join, so what it will try to do, it will try to first go this department number 10 and it will go and search in the right hand side table. The record should present in the left hand side table but should not present in the right hand side table. So is this yes or no? This is false because record is present in the right hand side table. So this is false. This will not be. Again, 20 will go and search in the department merge table and whether it will check whether department number 20 is there or not. Yes, it is there. That means the result is false. Okay. Then again 10 will go and check the result is false because the department number 10 is exist. So again, finally, department number 50 is going to search in this second table, right hand side table, and as a it will found as a true. Okay, so this is a case. So this will try to pull only this particular record in left anti join. So if you see here, you'll be able to see only 400 Aravind 50 and rest of the things are null because in department table you don't have entry for department number 50. So this kind of record it is going to be pulled here. Is this clear, Naveen? Any questions here?
Clear, sir. Thank you.
Same like right anti-join. If you go for right
Okay, sir.
anti-join, similarly, see if you go for merge queries as new. What is your first table? Okay, I'm direct right now. My selection is on left anti-join. Let us not select on that. Let me select any of the table. Okay, go for merge queries as new. My first left table is employee merge, right table is department merge. My common column is on department number column. I want to perform my right anti-join and click on OK. That's it. What is that you're able to see? You're able to see department number 30, and so that means when you go for right entry join here, what it will try to do, it will try to verify department number 3010 with in this. Yes, this is exists, it will not pull. Again 20 it will try to search. Yes, this is also exists. Again 30 it will search, but there it found true. That means the result is not there, so that means it will try to pull only this particular records out. That is called as your right anti join. Is this clear, Naveen?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay, so do you want me to explain in the DB as well, or DB is fine?
Fine, sir.
Okay, right. Let us continue the next topic called. Let us briefly discuss about what is the kind of history of Power BI first. For like say 5 minutes of discussion should be more than enough to discuss on kind of history of Power BI. Okay, so basically Power BI has started, okay, in the year of 2006. Okay, in the year of 2006 Microsoft has started some secret project called Gemini. Okay, so that again, that project name initially it was not Power BI. Okay, it was a product name of Gemini, which they have started in the year of 2006, and 2009 they have renamed the Gemini product as a to Power Pivot. Power Pivot, and was released. Basically, Power Pivot was a kind of extension of Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel extension is going to be a Power BI pivot. So 2006 they have started with Gemini product. 2009 they have implemented a product called, they have released a product called Power Pivot based on Gemini product only. They have just renamed the product name from Gemini to Power Pivot. It was like extension of Excel. Okay, what is Power Pivot is doing? Power Pivot is the capability of SSAS, SQL Server Analysis Services, which is having in-memory functionality. We are going to discuss what SQL SSAS is. Why do we actually go for cube analysis kind of things? We will discuss separately in the session in SSAS. But Power Pivot is acts like a analysis services. Okay. Then slowly Power Pivot got converted in the year of 2012, and they have released a version called Power View as part of SharePoint. Okay, Power View is primarily, it is a kind of a place where we are going to visualize or create the dashboards. Okay, that is a kind of Power View. So after that, in the year of 2013, they have come up with the Data Explorer was released. Okay, to shape or to tune the data. Okay, the Data Explorer to Power Query, again it was added and on top of Microsoft Excel only. So we have seen Power Pivot, Power Query, Power View. Okay, then to analyze the data, see, all transformation related activities we are going to done under Power Query. All visualization level changes we are going to done on Power View. All kind of modeling level changes we are going to done on Power Pivot. What makes the thing, what makes people to think and come up with a concept called Power BI? Because whatever they develop the reports, they cannot share, globally. So that's where there is some kind of lagging in that. So that's where in the year of 2015 they have released as a Power BI service. Okay, under powerbi.com. Okay, so Power BI has introduced and released in the year of 2015. Okay, finally they have combined the capabilities of Power Pivot, Power Query, okay, Power View into Power BI desktop. So Power BI desktop and released in the market as a Power BI suite, which contains Power BI desktop, Power BI service from 2015 onwards. So this is just basic kind of history. See, you need to understand. See, it is not mandatory, that in the interviews they will ask the question, but it is just a kind of a, you can spend 2 to 3 minutes of time on from where it actually started with Gemini, then Power pivot, then power query, then power pivot, power query. So then power view. So after that, Power BI desktop as a suite in the year of 2015. Any questions, guys?
No, sir. Clear.
This is just a kind of history, like how Power BI comes into the picture. Now let us discuss about something very very important in terms of interview and in terms of real-time project is called when we are importing the table. Suppose I want to import the tables to this particular Power BI desktop. Let me import these tables. Okay, let me select some tables to import to my Power BI desktop and see what exactly it is. See, let me select mm, dim customer table, dim date table, dim geography table, dim product table, dim product subcategory table. Let me select fact internet sales table and click on OK. The moment you click on OK, you will be able to see some important option called whether you want to go what type of connection. Is it a import mode of connection or is it a direct mode of connection, which is very very important. When do we actually go for import mode and when do we actually go for direct query mode? So till now we have imported all the tables. I mean, we have imported all the tables by using a connect mode as import. What if I select direct query mode? When do we actually go for direct query mode? When do we actually go for import mode? So the answer for this is most probably, I mean, it depends on the situation. Suppose, see, when you go for import mode, there are pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages. When you go for direct query mode, again, there are advantages and disadvantages. What are those? First, let us consider import mode. So when I say import mode, by using import mode, when I'm trying to import the data to my Power BI desktop, all the selected tables are going to be imported onto your Power BI desktop. Okay, so when you're performing any designing or any kind of reports, so obviously the data is going to be fetched onto the particular reports in a faster manner. Why? Because since you have loaded all the tables data into your Power BI desktop, what happens when I go for import mode is when I go and select import mode as a tables, so then the metadata and the data. So you know the difference between metadata and data, right? Surya, Naveen. So you know the
Yes, sir.
difference,
We
right?
know.
Metadata.
Yes, sir.
So when you go for import mode, all the data and metadata is going to be imported to your Power BI desktop. So that means everything is ready in your Power BI desktop. Now, when you're accessing the data, definitely it will give a better performance. Why? Because it is stored on the Power BI desktop in a kind of temporary RAM space. It's in a in-memory space. So that is the reason it is very fast, right? So can I conclude saying always prefer import mode? See, ultimately, if you're designing any reports, what client will expect, he needs in terms of performance and in terms of look and feel wise, it should be good. If it is performing well in terms of performance, he'll be more happy. But is it only the criteria? So is it always say, can I conclude always you have to go for import mode because import mode will give you a better performance? So can I conclude? No, you cannot. Why? You have seen only the advantages of import mode, because yes, import mode will get more performance. It will, since it is going to be metadata and data is going to be stored on the in memory of the Power BI desktop, it will, the performance is more, yes. But today I have imported some tables and I have created a report. After 5 days, if I again open the same report, whatever the data which is available on the report, do you think is that the latest data? Obviously not. Okay, so during this 5 days gap, in the dimensions table, suppose you have created you have modified some dimensions table which is involved in the reports. In the dimensions table, so many people has did so many changes during these 5 days. Will the latest changes are going to be available on the reports? No, that is the biggest challenge and major drawback. Okay, but what is the alternative approach to get the latest data? Again, we all the way we need to refresh. So we have seen discuss about refresh options, right? Refresh preview and refresh all, right? Surya, Naveen, Rupa.
Hi, sir.
So that means we ourselves has to manually refresh the report to get the latest data always. So this is the biggest drawback. Okay, that is point one. This is a drawback. Second drawback, I'll tell you. Suppose I have imported 7 tables. Okay, each table is having, say, suppose 100 records. Even if you you import, say, 10 tables, fine. But each table is having 10 GB of data or 5 GB of data. So when you're importing all the 5 GB or 10 GB of data into your Power BI desktop, definitely it is going to be stored in a in-memory process. That means in the RAM it is going to be stored. So you need some more space in the RAM. So for that, what you need to do, you need to extend your RAM space. So that means you need that RAM space to be extended. So when you have huge volume of data and when you are going for import mode, does it going to be helpful for you? Obviously not. Then what is the alternative? The alternative is you have to go for direct query mode. You have to go for direct query mode. That's where direct query mode will comes into the picture. Okay, so now you have seen the advantages and disadvantages of import mode. Now let us discuss about the advantages and disadvantages of direct query mode. Okay, so advantages, yes, when you have huge volume of data, so it is always better to go for a direct query mode. Perfect. But what are the disadvantages? Yes, you will go for a direct query mode. Perfect. What happens when you go for a direct query mode? Advantage is when you go for a direct query mode, suppose you have selected 7 tables, but this time you are going for a direct query mode. What it will happen internally, it will try to copy only the metadata of the tables to your Power BI desktop. Only the metadata of the tables to your Power BI desktop. That means direct query mode will not load the actual data, but it will depends on the data source for the data. Okay, so even though the tables is having 5 GB of data or 10 GB of data each table, it will not load data. It will load only metadata. That means structure of the tables to your Power BI desktop. Whenever if you're performing anything, it will try to every time go to your data source and it will try to connect and it will try to give. So that means that time, whatever that moment or that minute or that second, whatever the latest data is there, directly the data is going to be reflected onto the report since it is a direct query mode. These are the advantages of using direct query mode. Now let us discuss about disadvantages. Right. So when you are going for direct query mode, yes, you say like every way you are going to do that. But in direct query mode, not all the options are going to be supported. Not all the options are, not all the features are going to be supported in direct query mode. Whereas import mode can support all the features except one or two. Import mode will support 99% of the features, but whereas direct query mode will not support all the features which is available in the Power BI desktop. Okay, that is point one drawback. The other drawback is, say you have each table 5 GB of data. Since you're going for a direct query mode, all the data, all the metadata is going to be loaded into your Power BI desktop. Suppose I want to perform, say, total salary equal to gross salary plus HRA TADA. Suppose I have, say, 5 GB of data or 10 GB of data. Every time the logic has to go, and if I want to apply the same logic for all the employees to calculate total salary values, so the same logic has to be implemented for all 5 GB or 10 GB of data. For that, for each implementation wise, every time it will go to data source, it will get the first record and it will perform and it will fetch. Like that, it has to perform for all the records. So you will have more in IO operations is required, because input output operations. That means it has to go to data source, apply the transformations, apply the calculation, then again it has to display input output, input output. You need more computation for this. You need more computations and more IO operations is required. So that is the biggest challenge. So it is all situation based. It is all situation based in the project, whether you want to go for import mode or direct query mode. So till now, whatever I've discussed. So guys, are you clear or not?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Any questions?
Clear, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let me put it in this way. So I have prepared some documents for you, direct query mode and all. See, there is something called, see, suppose you'll be able to see, I have a SQL Server as a data source. Okay, and I have a Power BI desktop. Okay, so I have two methods. I have direct query mode and I have import mode. So I have discussed all these things, but suppose if I'm going for an import mode, all the data and metadata is going to be loaded into Power BI desktop. But if you see, if the table is having, say, 1 lakh records, so to keeping all this 1 lakhs record into the Power BI desktop in import mode, don't you think it is going to be a burden? But how exactly it is maintaining? So internally within the Power BI desktop, so there is something called as X velocity vertipack engine. X velocity vertipack engine will be there. What is the activity of X velocity vertipack engine? It is always used to try to compress the data as much as as that can. Suppose if you have assume, like, if you have 100 GB of data, it will try to compressed, and it will try to store, it will compressed up to around 10 GB of data. It will compressed. How? With the concept called X velocity vertipack engine, which is a very very powerful engine of compressing the data. It is almost compress the data 1/10%. So 100 GB is going to be converted into 10 GB the data. So it is almost drastic differences. That's where the major advantages of using this. Okay, so this is also interview question. People will ask what kind of engine it is there to compression technique. So X velocity vertipack engine will taken care of compressing the data and storing in the RAM space. Okay, RAM space, temporary space. Okay guys, clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now some of the interview. So Koteshwar Rao, are you clear? Vinod, Koteshwar Rao, Ravi.
Yeah, clear, sir.
Okay, so some of the interview questions. So people will ask, is it possible to use two different connectivity modes in a same report? So then the answer is yes. That means suppose I have selected 5 tables and I'm going for a import mode. So that means by using the import mode, I have connected all the 7 tables to my Power BI desktop. Next time when when I go and connect, this time I'm going to connect in a different mode. So is it possible or not? So suppose this time I'm trying to select another table, say customer test table, and say click on OK. This will ask, now this time can I select direct query mode? Then the answer is yes. It is allowing you to do combination of connectivity mode. It is allowing you to do, but can I convert? Okay, so the again next question, is it possible to change the connectivity mode from import mode to direct query mode? No, I mean no, because why? See, can I change the connectivity? Already existing tables got converted from import mode. Okay, can I convert the import mode to direct query mode? No, you cannot, because import mode can support all the features within the Power BI desktop, whereas your direct query mode will not support all the features. So that's why reverse vice versa is possible. Is it possible to change the connectivity mode from direct query mode to import mode? Yes, it is possible. So these are the popular interview questions. And also there is something called performance means, I mean import mode, what are the advantages and disadvantages, whatever I have discussed. What it will do in import mode, when I go and select the tables and when I trying to import the tables to Power BI desktop, that time it will try to copy extract the data and metadata from the data sources to your Power BI desktop. What are the advantages? As I discussed, report performance is more and good in import mode, because the visualization will take the data from Power BI desktop itself. Why? Because once you import, all the data and metadata is available in your Power BI desktop now. So it is copied here. So it will not go to data source every time. So it will not go to control will not go to data source every time. Instead of that, from the Power BI desktop only it will try to display. It is faster. Okay, all options will be enabled and supported in import mode. Okay, almost all the only one Power BI data sets is on, it will not support in import mode. Only I told you, right, 99% options are supported in import mode. That 1% called Power BI data sets won't support. But what are the disadvantages if I go for import mode? If you talk about the this disadvantage, you need more memory. You need more memory CPU to store the data. Suppose if the volume of data is more, so within the Power BI, where you're going to store, you're going to store in a temporary memory space or RAM space. So you need more RAM, and the updated data will not get reflected immediately until you re-import. Until you re-import or refresh, the updated data is not going to be reflected. Okay, see, while importing the data, you will perform X velocity vertipack compression technique to sorting the huge volume of data. So that is the advantages and disadvantages. See, if you go for direct query mode, see, we'll be able to see these are the different. See, we don't require any memory storage. See, when we go for direct query mode, only metadata is going to be stored in the Power BI desktop. So that means for data, it will depends on the data source itself. So when your Power BI desktop is not at all storing your data, so there is no storage concept in direct query mode. Always whatever the data that you're able to see on the reports, it is going to be the latest data. Suppose let me create some sample report here. I'll show you the difference. Let me create some sample report. Yes, so let me create some sample reports of, I've selected some template. Simple thing, I want to understand uh, category wise sales amount. Suppose I have a column called category. So in a product table, see, while designing any visualizations, two things are important. What is going to be your y-axis values? What is going to be your x-axis values? What is going to be your y-axis values? What is going to be your x-axis values? Okay. So what is going to be your x-axis? Suppose within the product table, I have a product categories are there. Okay. I have bikes category. So let me select categories on the x-axis and y-axis as a sales amount. Okay. So in this, what do you mean by x-axis? Here axis means x-axis, value means y-axis. So that means whatever the column that you are going to place here, it is going to be treated as a x-axis column. Whatever the column that you are going to provide here, that is going to be treated as a y-axis column. Okay. Suppose erase all. Suppose there is a column called English product category name, and I'm just dragging and dropping under. Just select, drag and drop. Okay. I want to understand the sales amount values. So that is present in the fact and trend cell, and drag and drop. See, this is the report for that. Okay. See, even if you see, I have selected this thing. I have selected values. So values is my, okay. In the visualization, we are going to discuss each and everything. But for now, I'm just trying to apply some kind of look and feel values. Okay. And I'm just enabling the data. Don't worry about how I'm doing this now. In the visualization steps, we are going to cover each and everything. Okay. So for now, I'm just trying to I'm trying to do some kind of modifications and coloring format. So can I change the colors? Yes, you can change the colors of this. Okay, so I'm just giving some proper title for this. Anyway, the title is there. Let me put it in the middle. Let me try to increase the title size. Don't worry, everything is going to be covered as part of the visualization part. But for now, if you see, I'm just trying to do some kind of modification so that the report is going to be in terms of look and feel wise, it will good. Okay, so what is going to be my x-axis? I'm just trying to increase the x-axis values. Yes, okay. Then y-axis values. Okay, so about this, suppose go to this, even suppose calendar year wise, I want to understand that. That means how many categories are there you have? Where is that calendar year? Yes, see, this is the report. If you see, I have three categories: bikes, accessories, clothing. So I want to understand how bikes is performing during the year of 2011, during the year of 2012, 2013, like that. So if you see here, 2011, I have $6 billion, $6.8 billion. 2012, I have $5.8 billion. 2013, I have $15.08 billion. So by looking at the visual itself, we'll be able to understand the sales of the each categories. Okay, so forget about how to create a visualization now, but try to focus more on import mode and a direct query mode. So whatever the result that you're able to see, if you select import mode, today I have created a report. After 2 days, if I open the same report, since it is an import mode, you will be able to see the same data. What if in the existing tables some data changes happens? So the changes are not going to be reflected. So to reflect the changes, all the way you have to re-import the data. So that is the disadvantages of using import mode. And direct query mode, what are the different disadvantages? Performance is bit slow when you compare with import mode. Reason, as I told you, if I want to calculate anything, total sales amount value, or any, like say A plus B plus C, or any kind of calculations, since direct query mode will not carry the data to your Power BI desktop, every time it has to go to SQL Server, it has to perform each and every records, that calculation, and finally it has to display. So that time it will take lot of time to perform the report. And direct query will not support most of the data sources, and direct query will not support some of the features also. So these are all the drawbacks which made people to think and go for import mode and direct mode. So there will be an interview question he will ask, how will you decide and who will decide whether you want to go for a import mode or direct query mode? It is again you have to decide as a Power BI architect or modeler or data engineer. You have to decide, if you have a less volume of data, then go for import mode. If you have huge volume of data, then go for direct query mode. Reason, there is no storage limitation. Okay, if user is expecting more performance of the report, then go for import mode. Okay, if, see, it is client to client. Some clients will says, Santosh, I don't mind if my performance is no, I'm expecting more performance, even logic wise I don't mind. So if your user is expecting more performance, better to go for import mode. But again, if you're going for import mode, your data manually you have to refresh every time. Okay, if performance is not matter, then better to go for direct query mode, so that direct live data is going to be connected and it is going to be decided. Again, suppose even if you're going for import mode, if data, suppose in a table data is frequently updating on a hourly basis, on a minute basis or hourly basis, if the dimensions table data is updating very frequently, okay, very frequently, then it is not better to go for import mode. Because if data is not updating very frequently, only say every day or every 3 days the data is updating, so then better to go for import mode. But if the data is keep on updating on a hourly basis, how many times that manually you have to refresh the report? So many times. So in that situation, better to go for direct query mode. Till this point, is this clear, guys? Are you getting
Yes, sir.
what I'm trying to
Yes,
say?
yes, sir.
Okay, so it is all situation based. So you have to decide what is the client expectation and what is the source tables, kind of activities. Are these tables are frequently getting updated, or only daily once it is updating, or every 3 days it updating? So it is all that you have to decide based on the current project situation. And people will ask, how many number of data source you can connect at a time in a Power BI desktop? You can connect any number of sources, any number of data sources. When I say data source, it can be a XML file, it can be a JSON file, it can be SQL Server, it can be web-based live streaming data. So to discuss like what are the available data sources are there, so many. These are all the different data sources. Based on the requirement, you can join any number of data sources. Okay, so that's about it. So, and how many number of data sources we have discussed? So is it possible to change the connect mode from import mode? No, it is not possible. Is it possible to change the connectivity mode from direct query mode to import mode? Yes, it is. Okay, so that's all for today. So till now whatever we discussed, it's all theoretical we have discussed today, because this is very important question. 90% you will get the question in the interview. 90% you will get this question in the interview. So you can debate and you can explain what are the advantages and disadvantages. See, both has, see, import mode has advantages and disadvantages. Direct query mode has advantages and disadvantages. You need to you need to focus all those things. You need to display all those things. Even he will ask, when do you go for that and when do you go for this? If your transactions are very frequently happening on the table, don't go for import mode, because if you go for import mode, every hour you have to update the report, every hour you have to manually refresh the report. It is going to be a headache process. Suppose the frequency level is every 3 days, every 2 days it is updating, then that's fine, man. I mean, every 3 days you are refreshing a report, that should be fine. But again, it depends on the situation. And if client is expecting, I want more performance, then go for import mode. So all these situations, as a Power BI developer or a modeler or architect, you have to decide based on the requirement. Any questions, guys?
No, sir, clear.
No, sir.
Okay, so